Kevin Nelson. Here's a look at what's going on this week in the news. We begin with news from the Vatican. During his weekly general audience before thousands gathered in St. Peter's Square, Pope Francis continued his audience talks about the Lord's Prayer by looking at how people ask God to forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us.
Alcune volte che ho sentito gente che ha detto io non perdonerò mai a quella persona, io quello che mi hanno fatto non lo perdonerò mai. Ma Dio, se tu non perdoni, Dio non ti perdonerà. Tu chiudi la porta. Pensiamo noi, se siamo capaci di perdonare, se non perdoniamo. Un prete, quando ero nell'altra diocesi, mi ha raccontato, angosciato, che è andato a dare gli ultimi sacramenti a un'anziana che era in punto di morte e la povera signora non poteva parlare. Il Signore disse, ma lei si pentisce dei peccati? E la signora ha detto di sì, non poteva confessare, ma ha detto di sì, è sufficiente. E poi lei perdona gli altri e la signora in punto di morte ha detto no. E è rimasto angosciato il prete. Se tu non perdoni, Dio non ti perdonerà. Pensiamo noi che stiamo qui, se noi perdoniamo, se siamo capaci di perdonare. Padre, io non ce la faccio perché quella gente mi ha fatto tante, ma se tu non ce la fai, chiede al Signore che ti dia la forza per farcela. Signore, aiutami a perdonare.
Looking now at news from around the country, in a recent ruling, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit has sided with the city of Philadelphia in its efforts to bar Catholic Social Services of the Archdiocese of Philadelphia from placing children in foster care with any family because the Catholic agency upholds traditional marriage. In March 2018, Philadelphia's Department of Human Services froze all new foster care placements with the Archdiocese Catholic Social Services, or CSS, because of its practice not to perform evaluations of the homes of same-sex couples wishing to care for foster children, and instead to refer their required processes to one of 7 other foster agencies contracted by the city. On average, the Catholic agency was serving 127 foster children a day, placed with more than 100 families in the city. CSS and several foster parents who joined in the lawsuit sought a preliminary injunction to stop the city's new policy. The U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania rejected the request, so the plaintiffs appealed to the Third Circuit. In its ruling upholding the lower court, the Third Circuit said the city stands on firm ground in requiring its contractors to abide by its non-discrimination policies when administering public services. According to the Beckett Fund, which is representing CCS and several foster parents who have sued the city, there are 6,000 foster children in Philadelphia, and early last year, the city put out an urgent call for 300 new families to become foster parents. More news from the Vatican. A recent article by a Spanish magazine features an interview with Cardinal Oswald Gracias of Mumbai, India, and Oscar Rodriguez Maradiaga of Tegucigalpa, Honduras, who are both members of Pope Francis's Council of Cardinals. They spoke to the magazine about the final draft of reforms the Council approved at its previous meeting in early April. The reform is expected to emphasize the Church's missionary mandate with the creation of a super dicastery, merging 2 offices dedicated to evangelization.
The Spanish magazine Vida Nueva has previewed the keys to the Vatican Curia's reform. It was designed by Pope Francis and his council of 6 cardinals. It is called the New Apostolic Constitution, Preach the Gospel. The Pope is likely to release and sign the new law June 29th. Its title previews the major novelty of this reform. It is that the priority of the Church and the Curia is to preach the gospel, and everything should aim towards that goal. For this reason, the most important Vatican department will be the new one dedicated to evangelization. It will encompass the Congregation for the Evangelization of Peoples and the Pontifical Council for promoting the new evangelization. Vida Nueva also previewed the creation of a new dicastery dedicated to the Pope's charity. The current Office of Papal Charities will then go under it. Furthermore, the Pontifical Commission for the Protection of Minors, which focuses on preventing abuse, will be ranked as an institution connected with the Holy See. This means that it maintains its independence from the Curia, but is linked to it in order to improve efficiency. The Spanish magazine also mentions that one of the next tasks for the Council of Cardinal Advisors is to reform the canon law of the Catholic Church.
And finally in the news, a three-judge panel of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit recently upheld by a unanimous decision the long-standing requirement of the House of Representatives that it open each day it is in session with a prayer. The decision also confirmed that the U.S. House Chaplain Jesuit Father Patrick Conroy can reject a secular invocation to open the sessions. The case began when a House member asked Father Conroy to invite Daniel Barker, a former Christian minister who is now an atheist, to be guest chaplain and deliver a secular invocation. Barker is co-president of the Freedom from Religion Foundation, a nonprofit that promotes non-belief and works to keep state and church separate. The priest denied the request, and Barker sued in 2016, claiming that he was being unconstitutionally excluded from the guest chaplain program because he's an atheist. A lower court dismissed Barker's claim, and he appealed to the D.C. Circuit. There are three requirements all guest chaplains must meet. They must be sponsored by a House member, they must be ordained, and they must not directly address House members and instead address a higher power. In their decision, the court said that the House's requirement that prayers must be religious precludes Barker from doing the very thing he asks us to order Father Conroy to allow him to do, and that's deliver a secular prayer. Since 1789, the House of Representatives has begun each legislative day with a prayer. Well, that is all the information we have for you this time. I'm Kevin Nelson. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV network.